Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. Lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness to light. Lead us from death to immortality. Om. Peace, peace, peace. The subject of my talk today is more facts about meditation. The title More Facts, the two words I have added or I have used because in the last talk I had given some simple facts about meditation. So just to be brief, we know how to do meditation. That means sitting in a quiet place, then concentrating the mind, and then according to the instructions of the teacher or whatever you have read or feel, focusing the mind on some object or just watching the mind, what it is doing, what it is observing. And that is a very simple method of doing meditation. But meditation is a very deep thing. Deep thing in a sense that means everything depends upon meditation, we can say also. And all the knowledge that we get is because of meditation. But we do not uh, perceive that, feel that because of meditation we are getting that. But at one aspect of knowledge is that it is really concentrating on something, and in that way we are getting knowledge. So Swami Vivekananda said, and it is also said in the scripture that uh, meditation is the tool for getting knowledge. And meditation, knowledge, as you know, we say that ultimate reality. That means in essence, knowledge is God, you can say. And those who want to say in a general way, so it is an aspect of ultimate reality. That means of our consciousness, gathering the knowledge or having the knowledge. And another aspect, interesting aspect that we talked about in the last talk was that all the knowledge is within ourselves. And whatever knowledge we gather, or we think that we are getting new knowledge by reading newspaper or hearing something or thinking of something. And that knowledge is coming from outside. Outside means that we are discovering something. Something has come to us. But it is not true in that way. The knowledge that we have already, we get them rearranged. And when an intuition comes, actually that is a new knowledge. And all the knowledge that we gather is in the same process. Some is very fast. We do not know how actually we got it. And some definitely requires a lot of time and energy and also perseverance, like doing some research, gathering information, then telling them. There's some methods by which actually we come to a conclusion, and that we call knowledge. But ultimately, knowledge is a rearrangement of the existing knowledge. We cannot have new knowledge because all knowledge is already within ourselves. Nothing can be added to that. So this is this can be Swami Vivekananda has explained it in that very simple example. You all know the story of how Newton came into the discovery of the law of gravity. That means how we know that there is gravity. So it was like this, that the story, as the story goes, that he went to the orchard and saw that one apple fell on the ground, and then that actually uh, what is called gave an impulse of thinking in his thought, that he was already thinking that there must be something which is attracting, the earth is attracting. Then he did research a little bit. Then he found the laws of gravity that we have come to, that we get now. So in this way, all the knowledge that we have has come in from our own own existing knowledge. So all of us have the same knowledge, only the way that we have gathered is different. That is why we say that we are discovering new things, and then we get used to in what way you have got it, then actually we also experiment in that way or think in that way, and we also discover that yes, it is true. So this is the one aspect of our mind which is important to know, that uh, intuitive knowledge, that means intuition brings the knowledge. Sudden flash brings the knowledge. And it is happening always. And those are common things are always popping up in our mind. And in that way, we recognize things, identify things. That it doesn't require time. But when new thing comes, actually, we need to rearrange things. That means we meditate upon, and in that way, we find we discover those things. This is the general pattern of what is called knowledge that is always coming. And meditation, so I would like to share with you some of the reflections of meditation. I said yesterday that I shall get some reflections and teachings of on meditation by some direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. The reason is this, that Sri Ramakrishna himself was supreme in meditation. Those who have read the life of Sri Ramakrishna will agree. That means he was adept. Adept means super adept in meditation, because the highest of meditation is Nirvikalpa Samadhi, as it is called, which is very distant for us, for ordinary people. But Sri Ramakrishna used to have that experience. That means his mind is to merge into highest Brahman, which is known as Nirvikalpa Samadhi. So his mind was super perfect, we can say, in meditation. So naturally, whatever he has said about meditation is very valuable for us, because he had the most practical experience of meditation, and that he experienced every day. And for us, actually, once if it is done, then actually we are very happy. And that will be the end of our pursuit of practice of meditation. We are trying to get that. So in his turn, Sri Ramakrishna also taught his disciples. There are two types of disciples. One group were monastics, that means they completely dedicated in the pursuit of spiritual life, in the practice of meditation, and of course doing some good work also. That means in their turn, they also taught others how to do meditation. And we can presume that all of them had the highest experience of meditation. That means super conscious experience. And that is, of course, it is not written in case of everybody, but definitely in case of Swami Vivekananda, we see that Sri Ramakrishna himself have said that he had the highest realization. Once he shared, Swami Vivekananda shared one experience with him, and he said that yes, that is the ultimate experience that one can have in the practice of meditation. So in that way, for others also, if you read the lives, you'll find that there are occasions when they had this type of experiences, and we presume that they also had the experience, highest experience. So they are what is called, as you call, certified teachers. That means licensed teacher, if you call it. So in that way, they are very valuable for us. And what they have said about meditation, many people, many disciples have recorded them. Later on, after they are passing away, or during that time also, they had shared the knowledge of meditation that they have got. And in that way, there are books where they have their sayings about meditation are available. And in case of Swami Vivekananda, it is very important, because he not only taught meditation, he gave a series of lectures, which is known as Raja Yoga. And in Raja Yoga, the beauty of Raja Yoga is that other disciples mostly gave the teachings from the point of view of self-realization. That means their disciples or those who are seekers, they are always trying to realize God, having the vision of God. In that way, they were eager for that. So in that way, only a little bit, one aspect of the meditation they dealt with, that we find in their teachings, because they did not have or people did not approach them with general instruction of meditation, or general aspects or different aspects of meditation. So we do not find much of those things in their teachings, except how to reach God, in what way to control the mind, which is very difficult, those who have done meditation. So in that way, they have given the practical instructions. But in case of Swami Vivekananda, we see that he had taken the totality of meditation. That means in every aspect of our life, how meditation is really important. And he has also taken into consideration all the experiences that the previous people, that means previous meditator, have, or has been recorded in our scriptures also, and also in the lives of different seekers. So in that way, he had taken into account of those experiences. So in that way, his exposition of meditation, which is scattered, that means many places of the complete works of Swami Vivekananda, you will find that he has talked about meditation, but definitely the cream of that you will find in Raja Yoga. Raja Yoga book is very well known, and I have a copy of this book. I have brought it, and during his lifetime, actually, it was published. And it was published in this way that he gave series of talks on this book, Raja Yoga, by Patanjali. That means Patanjali Yoga Sutra, it is called. It is very much active book in a sense. That means still many people read it, and many authors are what is called commenting upon it. And it is a guide for many groups of meditators also. So in Patanjali Yoga Sutra, that means he compiled this book. That means during his lifetime, as you are saying, that this book was compiled from the series of talks that he had given in New York and also in London. Those two series were combined together, and in that way, this book was this book came into existence. And it was his lifetime that the printed copy was out. So we can say that he had the opportunity of correcting it or going through it. So in that way, it is very, very authoritative about what he had to say about meditation. And during his time, the meditation was not that popular or not well known. Not popular, but well known, definitely. That means in general public, meditation is something very strange thing, or very unknown thing, or something which is beyond comprehension, or some people thought probably it is a sort of magic. That means some practice of some sort of control of the mind for performing some magic or something like that. In that way, the meditation, condition of meditation, or the meditation was understood during his time. But today, actually, we see whatever may be the situation or circumstances, meditation has become a very popular thing. Popular in a sense, well-known thing. That means it has been it is being prescribed by what is called even general people, those who have done meditation. What to say about the what is called doctors and psychologists? They are saying that yes, you do meditation to get rid of stress situation, and that will be very, it has been found scientifically. That means without proper investigation, they will not really recommend it for general public. So we see that in that way, there is a very strong support for doing meditation nowadays. And it has become doubly important because of the present situation also. People are feeling stress for 2 months. Actually, we are home, what is called locked in homes. And though some of us have the opportunity of doing work, but definitely there are people who are not really able to get some engagements also, work and all those things. So naturally, very stressful situation. And in that, under that circumstances, meditation is also very helpful. That means it lightens the burden of the mind. That means it makes the mind very not only cheerful, but definitely stressless. That means some as that heaviness of the mind actually can be removed by practice of meditation. So we can conclude in this way that when people in general are doing meditation, it may not be meditation for self-realization, but still it has got good effect. That is why it is being taken. So it is something like that, that meditation is being done. Some medicines are there, it can lessen some ailment, but it cannot really fully cure. So in that way, meditation is helping people to take away some burden from their mind. But meditation is being practiced. That is the point which is important to know. So when somebody is doing meditation, so naturally you can expect that different experiences will come. And that has been dealt in the Raja Yoga book by Swami Vivekananda in a very interesting way. He actually started his Raja Yoga book with some, in this way, that I can read a few lines. Since the dawn of the history, various extraordinary phenomena have been recorded as happening amongst human beings. So this is the first sentence of his preface of Raja Yoga. So we see that unnatural things, which is not very common to us. There are some people who can say that, well, what you are thinking, I can just tell you. So in that way, they say that you are thinking this thought. So that is a very strange thing that is not common for us. So in that way, these extraordinary things are happening. That means people have experienced many extraordinary things, and that has been recorded. So Swami Vivekananda is saying that on the back of these experiences is meditation. That means knowingly or unknowingly. Knowingly, in a sense, that means we do meditation under the guidance of a teacher, and the teacher says that this is the methods that you should follow, and you'll get this. These are the results. So that is a sort of guided meditation. But there are people who actually unknowingly doing meditation. That means slowly their mind is getting concentrated in any way. And because of the concentration, they fall upon something. That means they discover something or have some peculiar experiences. That is also possible. Special type of power of the mind. That means which is not common for others. That also might come. It is quite common. So naturally, we can conclude that people uh, will come across different experiences when they are doing meditation, not just under the guidance or just with this called specific objective of self-realization. And to discuss that or to know that, actually this book of Raja Yoga is very helpful. That it is as I told you, it has given the whole spectrum of meditation. It has dealt with the whole spectrum of meditation, not one type of meditation for self-realization. By that I mean, but all the things that are happening around us, all the things, extraordinary things that has happened or that is happening or that probably will happen in future because people are also doing meditation. So that can be, the explanation for those things can be found out in the book of Raja Yoga. That means in another way, you can say in the sayings of Swami Vivekananda, because he has dealt with that. Of course, I have to tell a little bit that Raja Yoga is a book. Uh, it has a very nice introduction, and that helps in the comprehension of this aspect of meditation, different aspects of meditation. At the same time, it has second part is Patanjali Yoga Sutra, which has been studied by scholars and also many saints and sages also. So Swami Vivekananda also had given his commentary on that. And this commentary, as I told you at the beginning, is very valuable for us because this is being commented upon by an established, well recognized by his teacher, recognized by his what is called fellow seekers, and also by the time we see that many of his observations are really coming true or has come true, and in that way you can say that it will come true. So we cannot really deny what Swami Vivekananda said if we do not understand what he has said at this moment. Probably if you wait for some time, probably we shall be able to understand the meaning of what he has said. And in that way, my point is this, that his sayings are very authoritative and demands or expects what is called attention, good attention. We cannot really reject if we do not say it is a very fantastic thing that he has said. It cannot happen or it will not be true. In that way, it is not really rejectable. That is the point. So we need to keep in mind that this, whatever Swami Vivekananda has said, because of his competency as a realized person, and amongst the realized person, probably he is also have a higher category. So that requires what is called, those who are serious, they will ponder to what he has said appropriately. That means they will, they should pay proper attention. Then actually we shall benefit. That means it doesn't matter if you do not follow Swami Vivekananda, read Swami Vivekananda, it doesn't matter. But those who are serious, actually they will give more attention from this point of view also. He has become very well known nowadays because of his personality and because of his popularity. But there is, this aspect is also very important, that what he has said, probably if he was born in ancient times, during the Vedic times, probably his sayings we would have found out as an Upanishad also, or sayings of the what is called Vedas also, because all the sayings of the saints and sages have, those are discovered truths, and they have come down to us in this way. Probably in future, probably after 5,000 years, probably his sayings also, which will survive, will be read in the way Upanishads are, Vedas are being read. Because he was a realized person, that is the point. We presume that Vedantic teachers, the teachers of the most ancient teachings of Vedas, were all realized persons, because in deep meditation, they discovered the truths, and what they discovered, they shared with their students. In that way, the teachings have come down. And people through ages have practiced them and found them that very true. And even today, actually, all the teachings are really very true from the point of view of spirituality. So let us see what Swami Vivekananda, there he has said, as I told you, many things about meditation, but some of the sayings that I like, and I think it is appropriate for today's talk, I would like to share about that, and I request you to give some thoughts to those sayings. So he's saying in one place, meditation is a constant remembrance of things meditated upon. So this is about the procedure of meditation. So if somebody says that what is meditation, it is just thinking. Everybody knows what is thinking. We are always thinking something, maybe for a short time, maybe for a long time. So we are thinking is a process of human mind. So he's saying meditation is a constant remembrance, flowing like an unbroken stream of oil poured out from one vessel to another. So it is a constant flow, unbroken flow, uninterrupted flow of thought to one object. So this is a very simple description, and it is oft quoted also. Then he says, meditation is the means of unification of subject and object. This is another aspect. So unification in a sense, that means if you take the example of the what is called the oil poured from one vessel to another, so subject is the what is called the vessel from which it is coming, and it is being connected by the thread of oil with the what is called another vessel, which is an object. In that way, this flow of oil is the connection, and it is the meditation. It is thought of like meditation. So meditation is like that constant flow of one thought from subject to object. Then he is saying every meditation is direct super consciousness. This is actually very deep saying. Every meditation is direct super consciousness. When meditation is really a little bit successful, you can feel that you have definitely withdrawn your mind from the outside world, because we do meditation closing the eyes, and we go to a place, secluded place where there is less noise. So naturally you can say the ears are also closed. And the same way, the smell and touch and all those things are really not active at the time of meditation. So it is, everything is happening inside the mind. So in the mind itself, actually, we have the what is called a shadow, if you call it, of the outside experiences. So we can really smell, and if you think of some smell that you have smelled earlier, or what you have seen, earlier. So in that way, everything is available inside the mind, what we actually experience in the in waking state or in the outside when our senses are open to outside. So that actually in meditation is really control. Control in a sense, if you are really concentrating on one object, so naturally that object, probably to say a visual object. So naturally other four aspects of senses are closed. That means they are not functioning, even in the mind. So in that way, that when it matures, that means it is said that when you can do that type of you do that type of practice or become adept in that type of practice, actually that will be super conscious experience. That means if you have closed the senses, outside senses by closing eyes and controlling the other senses, then inside the mind also you have just focused on one thing. So in the mind also, what you could have perceived, that are also closed. So naturally in one object actually you are concentrating. So naturally that is super sensuous, that means super conscious. That means that is being said. That means when other consciousness, other aspects of the consciousness is closed, then naturally it is one consciousness remains. Then it is super consciousness. Of course, there is a little bit further further what is called advance is necessary when the last experience inside the mind. Suppose you are visualizing only one object, all the other aspects of the perception is closed outside as well as inside. So superconscious experience will be just that when that last conscious perception also will be closed and you will be just an observer. That means that you will be just a subject who actually was perceiving those things, that will it will remain in that state. That is the perfect superconscious state. So these are the stages of meditation that you can really figure out by your little practice, and also you'll find in described in the books of meditation. Now, it is meditation that brings us nearer to truth than anything. So this is also very interesting, because truth means what is called which is permanent. That means it is not really changeable. So we discover truth. So we know that law of gravity is truth, because it was there probably millions of years ago, and it is here probably to stay millions of years afterwards also. So these are truths. So Swami Vivekananda is saying that it is meditation that brings us nearer to truth than anything. So it is this contemplation, as I told you, the discovery of gravity. So in that way, when the mind is concentrated, that means it is really taken away from different senses and focused on one thing, then actually discover the true nature of that thing. And that is the what is called great use of meditation, you can say. So he's saying it is meditation that brings us nearer to truth than anything. You cannot really, while playing football or while playing tennis, you cannot discover any truth. Some thoughts may come, but it will not be true. It will be flittering. That means it will not be permanent as such. So by experience, probably will be some strokes or some what is called some shots you may find convenient, but it will not really permanent. That is the point. But what we discover through contemplation will remain for a long time, forever. And incidentally, as some of the truths that we find in the physical world are also not really T in capital, because they also now, by today's experiments or today's thoughts, we can understand they will not last forever. So that is why in the long run, probably they are not true. But for the timing, they are definitely working truth. There's no doubt about that, and it will remain working truth for a long time, because it has been working truth for a long time in the past also. So the point is that meditation is very helpful. So those who are doing research and all those things, they can take this point that yes, if you are trying to discover something, if you do meditation, so your mind will be sharp enough to discover something. It will help in the pursuit of what is called finding some new thing that one can expect that if meditation is brings us to brings us nearer to truth. So then he's saying, thus is what I mean by meditation, the soul trying to stand upon itself. So this is actually a spiritual aspect, you say. Soul means that consciousness is trying to stand in self. That means the mind is withdrawing, and after withdrawal it is focusing on one object. Then actually from that object also it is trying to come bring back to its own self, and that is the soul is trying to stand on itself, and that is the highest realization, highest discovery of truth, if you call it. So that state must surely be the healthiest state of the soul, when it is thinking of itself, residing in its own glory. So Swami Vivekananda is saying that that is the highest state of the mind, or actually it is beyond mind, when the soul will stand on itself. That means soul will be what it is, and in that way it will remain, instead of dissipating it to mind and body. So that is the most glorified position of the soul. Then he is saying that meditation comes by a process of imagination. That is also very true, because when you close our mind, then actually imagination start functioning. Whatever you think is nothing but imagination. They might have all these imaginations are not really what is called they all the past thoughts actually build up this imagination. So naturally all the things are inside the mind. So meditation is by closing eyes we do that. So naturally all the past thoughts that we had, actually we take the help of them, organize them, and in that way actually we use that. So it is an act of imagination. That means starts with imagination. That's why Vivekananda is saying. So these are the different aspects of meditation that he has said, and another one or two more things that it may be a little bit repetition. Just in one place he has said, if the mind can be fixed on the center of 12 on the center, that means on an object for 12 seconds, it will be called dharana. That is a technical term. That means we have different degree of concentration. If we have an object and we can focus the mind for 12 seconds, it is called dharana. That technical term is given for that 12 seconds time. Then when the 12 seconds of dharanas will be dhana, that means meditation means if you can concentrate on some object for 144 seconds, and that is called meditation. So you can really think when we do meditation, how difficult it is that to claim that we are doing meditation, because it is very difficult to concentrate our mind for 144. That means just say two minutes, or say 3 minutes, between 2 and 3 minutes, and it is so difficult. And if we can really we are successful for that, that will be called dhyana. Then he's saying such 12, that means if that is multiplied by another 12, that means 12 cube, if you call it mathematically, that type of seconds, that type of length of time, if one can do, that is that samadhi. That means there is no, that is the highest thing that you can achieve. So time-wise, actually, you can see the perfection can come in such a short time. That is a possibility. And that is very encouraging. But as you can understand, those who have done meditation, it is really very difficult. That means it requires perseverance, long practice, and also what is called sort of determination. That is the point. So Swami Vivekananda has said this. Now let us see one aspect of meditation that I told you, which is called intuition. So it is not a Swami Vivekananda saying, but it is saying of another one of our Swamis who actually wrote about meditation. So that clarifies what is the connection between what is called this meditation and intuition. Intuition is the flash of truth, if you call it. That means suddenly we discover something intuitively. But in the background, it is like this. That means all other thoughts actually got somehow rearranged, and then actually gave that impression. That is called intuition. Just like in case of what is called Newton, Just in a flash, actually, he discovered, that means intuitively he discovered the existence of the gravity, existence of gravity. So how actually this intuition comes and what are its different aspects that has been clarified here. So intuition, the power of direct vision lies dormant in us. The intuition is what is called, you say that we have the Atman and soul, that means the consciousness, if you call it in today's term. So that is always within ourselves. That means that energy, if you call it, or that faculty, if you call it, that is always within ourselves. So everybody has got that faculty. So this power of direct vision is dormant. Dormant in a sense, that means if the mind is very clear, the intuitive power will be greater. And if mind is very disturbed, then actually intuitive power will be very less. So in that way, less and more intuitive power is within ourselves, or under circumstances it is more or it is less. In that way, we can say through that it should be regained. That means he is at this the place from where I have taken. So it is an instruction how to improve our meditation, how to increase our intuitive power. So in another way, how to be successful in meditation also we can say. Through that alone come the glimpses of the higher reality. So this intuitive power is very important. If we develop intuitive power through meditation, actually that will lead us to discovery of a true self. In spiritual field, in that way, it is important. How to develop the higher power of intuition? Just watch, and this is a very practical instruction. I have never found anywhere this instruction. That is why I am sharing with you, because we are having daily experiences in our life, and with the help of such daily experiences, actually he is explaining, this teacher is explaining how to improve our meditation or intuitive power. So he's saying, just watch how you enter into sleep and how you get out of it. You'll find at first the sense organs are withdrawn back into the mind. So when you go to sleep, actually different thoughts are there. We try to withdraw our stop those thoughts so that we can sleep. So mind, as if mind is withdrawing some thoughts that are running into the mind. So it is a withdrawal. You will find that at first the sense organs are withdrawn back into the mind, then the thoughts die down and you will have just a vague eye consciousness. That means you are watching or you are thinking something and you were watching, but you are trying to get rid of. So that I-ness is actually remains only. That means just before falling asleep, this I-ness, the eye consciousness, is a last step of perception that we have. Finally, this I merges into deep sleep, and suddenly, actually, that stops. Then, actually, you say darkness, that means we lose consciousness and we fall asleep. So, these are the steps. That means in the mind at the time of sleeping, we are watching something or mind is observing something. Then, actually, it becomes slow, and we try to withdraw this, what is called this perception, and slowly, actually, only I consciousness, I am perceiving, I perceive in that way. I-ness remains, and in the process, actually, it drops down into deep sleep. We lose that I consciousness. So what at first the I consciousness, let me say, then finally this I merges into deep sleep. When you wake up, the reverse happens. At first, the I consciousness emerges, and then this gets connected to the thoughts which arise in the mind and the objects around. So when we wake up, actually, probably if it is what is called the alarm bell, if it is, so naturally you'll hear that sound, and then we'll try to relate. Yes, I'm listening to that, and in that way, actually connected with the surrounding thoughts. In that way, consciousness comes back. That means I is coming back from the what is called a stage when the I consciousness it was not there. So we say that all our perception has got this connection of I-ness. Then actually we perceive things. So I is the ego, as it is called, is the thread by which as a consciousness attaches with the mental things and outside things also. So just after waking up, there is a shadowy intermediate period when you remain pure eye conscious for a split second. So before going to sleep, actually this eye consciousness is there, and also coming back from the sleep also there is just pure eye consciousness, if you call it, because it has not attached to the objects yet. At that point, the world appears shadowy. So it is dreamy. That means when you wake up, actually, it is just in the mind. So it is just like dreamlike state. And something of this pure awareness should be attained consciously during our waking hours. That means this type of dreamy feeling, if you call it, actually, if it is projected during our waking hour, that means what you are seeing or perceiving is just like a dream. That means it does not have its existence. Because of the I-ness, actually, you are perceiving these things. If that can be brought, actually, he is suggesting that will be what is called a way of what is called uh, uh, something of this pure awareness should be attained consciously during our waking hours. That will be helpful in the when we sit for meditation. That means then the thoughts that are coming in our mind will be weakened. That is the point. That is the real task before the aspirant. We should attain to that plane where the dividing line between light and darkness is very thin. So this is the way actually we have to understand that meditation, that withdrawal of the mind from the objects is needed to be done. We have these practical experiences every day whenever we fall asleep and when we wake up. And with the help of that experience, actually, we can do what needs to be done. That means we understand what is necessary to be done, and we can really do that. And that thought, that type of dreaminess, if you call it, if it's projected in the waking time, that will be helpful for meditation. Now, why he is saying that? That is, he is giving a support from the Upanishad. So there is a nice dialogue in that Upanishad. It is in Brihad Aranak Upanishad. King Janaka questions the venerable sage Yagnavalkya. That means there is a deliberation in the court of King Janaka, which is very famous deliberation. And Yagnavalkya was a great rishi, that means seer. He was a realized person. So he came to King Janaka, and Janaka thought that he has come to get some money or some cows or whatever it may be, or some persons to repair his building, whatever it may be. He thought that, yes, sages used to come to take help from the kings in that way. So he thought that way, but ultimately Yagnavalkya said that no, I have come for a different purpose. The purpose is also a story, but I just skip that now. The sage replies that it is the king Janaka questions the venerable sage Yagnavalkya, what serves as the light for man? So what is the light? That means there are lights by which actually you see. So that actually helps us in seeing things. That means you perceive things. So he is saying that what is the through which actually human beings perceive things. So what is that light? So the sage replies that it is the light of the sun. It is by the light of the sun that he sits, goes out, works, and comes back. It is we can understand this is a very simple thing. Then King Janaka is saying, when the sun has set, what serves as the light? So sun is not there, there is darkness. The moon, the reply is the moon. When there is no moon, the question again, the fire. The fire actually lighted fire actually shows the things. When there is no fire, questioning like this, he reaches back into himself. It is the mind that recognizes external objects, but behind the mind stands the luminous self, with the light of which we dream of objects within. The point is that we also dream. Everybody dreams every day. So how actually we see those things in the objects inside our mind? So it is because of the light of Atman. That means that light actually what is called casts of those on those objects, and in that we perceive. Because at that time we are not conscious. There is no light outside. There is no fire outside. There is no moon outside. No light is there, but still we perceive that we have seen that. So how actually you have seen that? Because of the light of the Atman. So one aspect of Atman is luminosity. So in that way, it is said that think about the light of which we dream objects within. Think about the light which reveals the dream objects. What is that light? It is the self itself. The life is self-luminous. It reveals itself. Nothing can reveal it. That means it is the last point of light. That means there is no light actually that illumines the true self, that Atman. It is self-luminous. So that is the deliberation that we see that has been said, how actually meditation is what is called discovery of the true self. Now I was talking about the what is called another aspect of this meditation, which is the different types of power that Swami Vivekananda has explained, that we see that a manifesto has been recorded. So there is one chapter in this Raja Yoga dedicated to powers, as it is called. So there it is said that there are three aspects. We saw dharana, dhyan, and samadhi. And these three combined, there is a one word which is called samyama. Samyama means full concentration. And by that concentration, actually, one can attain to the highest, that means samadhi, nirvikalpa samadhi as it is called. So with that tool, that means if somebody has achieved that or have perfected that, then actually there are different types of powers will come to him. And why the powers will come to him? That is a question. Powers means, as I told, just a simple example that I gave. That means somebody has come and a person who can really apply those three things because of his adaptation of meditation. He's adept in meditation, so he cuts his thought on or focuses his mind on the other person's mind, so he'll be able to discover what he's thinking. And Swami Vivekananda, in many places, we see that he has given this example. And also people have found that it is really true in that way, actually. And it is also in Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, it is also said that. So this samyama, if it is done to different objects, actually, the supernatural power means, that means in general, we cannot feel what is inside in your mind. It will not possible. Otherwise, we have discovered everything what is there in others' mind. It doesn't happen. We have to ask, then you have to research, then we have to interpret. All those things are very important. And in that way, figure out that, oh, this person is thinking it in this way. But a person adept in meditation, who had the adaptation in dharana, dhyan, and samadhi, just by focusing the mind, actually be able to tell what is in his mind. So this is a power, we can say simple power, if we can say. And in that way, Patanjali has given different powers that has been manifested or shown by different times by different persons. Now, my point is that since people are doing meditation, by knowingly or unknowingly, actually these things will they will fall into this type of experiences. Just this, it will not be difficult for other persons to figure out what is in your mind. Or there are certain powers in that way, actually can really communicate with others also, that has been described here. So in that way, those powers will be manifest. That means as the meditations increase, different types of persons are there, different types of mind are there, different types of quality of mind is there. So in that way, different types of experience will be coming, and we shall see that many things that we need, we take the help of gadget to know, that will be very much decreased. That means, as I say, intuition will be so powerful that to at least for some people, and if it is practiced systematically, probably many people will be able to acquire those type of what is called faculty. And many gadgets that is important for us today may not be necessary at that time. Suppose I'm saying just it may be a little bit what is called interesting, and also probably it will be surprising. Suppose I want to talk to you. So naturally, there are there are mentions that if somebody can make sangyama, can focus the mind on the person to whom is actually talk, the connection will be automatically made. That means then actually you can transfer your thoughts to the mind of the other. In that way, it is possible. So naturally, there will be what is called, if many persons can do that, so naturally there will be a great loss for the technology also. There will be necessity for these technologies for communication. So this is what is called out of the box thinking. But the point is that it is possible. That is the point that Swami Vivekananda has said. And I can, as I said, that what he has said out of his own experience. That means, and what he has said, because it is not that he has any motivation for saying those things, because he's a pure person. His mind was so pure, it was not really affected by any type of profit and such other things, or doing some influence or something like that. So these are the things that are really we have to be, at least I feel will be interesting in the future. That means when so many people are doing meditation, just like, proliferation of medicine has happened because so many people are doing research. They are trying to find out solution or for many ailments. So ultimately they discovered that. So in the same way, when many persons are doing something, many things will come up in future about this, what is called these powers that we find that has been enumerated in Patanjali Yoga Sutra. So this is the thought that I have in my mind. Of course, I could have elaborated, but this is a little bit what is called out of the box thoughts. Probably you'll be laughing, oh, Swami is saying these things which will be coming in future, probably until and unless you see them coming through our media or something like that. It will be very difficult for anybody to conceive those things or believe those things. Because what media says we believe, otherwise you don't believe anything. If somebody says that, well, I saw such and such thing that Sri Ramakrishna has said, that example of Sri Ramakrishna holds good even today. But media was not this, during Sri Ramakrishna's time, media was just a newspaper, piece of paper. So somebody said that I saw that house is falling down. And then he said to his friend, he came walking probably from his place to the friend's place. On the way, on the road, he saw that the house was falling down. So he said that I saw that house falling down. So naturally, how a house can fall down. So the friend did not believe him. Then he saw, let me see the newspaper. So he scrutinized the newspaper and the news like that there was no house falling in that way. Then he said that I don't believe you. The point is that our faith in media is so much that until and unless it comes into through the media, we cannot accept them as true. So it is our mind has been conditioned in that way. So these are the out of box thoughts. That is the point that you will not find that media has started dealing. Probably in future, when things will come rapidly and in large numbers, like what is called these viruses and all those things, then we have to believe. This coronavirus nobody has seen, but because of the media actually believe. And if you say that I do not believe, you will be an outcast. That means you are what is called mad person. But still you can say that I have seen, that is why I'm saying. The things are like that. Whatever it may be, these possibilities of meditation is what is called astounding. That means from our day-to-day experience, we are actually what is called a bit of meditation we are always doing. That means a sort of perceiving things is a meditation, because what is your consciousness coming and then actually perceive things. And what to say about the super consciousness, that means nirvikara samadhi, that is also also achieved through meditation. So in that way, importance of meditation is so vast that we have not really, in general, we can say we have not discovered its possibilities. Our spiritual seekers, we don't want to diverge into different things, because we are we understood what the world is. So that is why we have focused on one aspect of meditation, self-discovery. But meditation is really very, very vast subject. And when it will be practiced by a large number of people, you will find that many things are being discovered And that is my, what is called, uh, what is called, that I feel that, and Swami Vivekananda also said that these are the possibilities, and there's always an explanation behind that. So with those words, actually, I conclude my today's talk.